Hey y'all, so today I'm going to be doing the I Messed Up book tag, and I was tagged to do this by G Swizzle Books, so I will leave a link down in the description to her video as well as to the original video. And this tag is basically just 8 questions about mistakes that you've made while reading, so let's just go ahead and jump into it. Question number 1 is a character appearance that you misread and pictured differently. And for this one, I think the most obvious one for me is Hodge from the Mortal Instrument series. I think that because he not only was an instructor in the Institute, but also kind of a librarian, I pictured him almost kind of as an older professor, so maybe like in his 50s or 60s, when in fact he's actually supposed to be more the same age as Clary's mom and as Luke, which is I think late 30s. So when I actually saw the people that were cast as him in the movie and in the TV show, I was very confused because I was like, why are these guys so young? And then upon a reread, I understood that I completely misunderstood who he was supposed to be and how old he was supposed to be. Question number 2 is a character name that you've been pronouncing wrong. Now, I try to be really on top of things as far as pronunciations. I try to make sure that I pronounce author names correctly and character names correctly, but the ones that I messed up as a kid were Sirius and Dobby. I always thought that it was Sirius and Dobby. I don't know why I thought that as a child, but when I first read the Harry Potter series, I was convinced that Sirius was named Sirius and Dobby was named Dobby. I'm not exactly sure when I realized my mistake, but eventually I fixed it and I now know how to pronounce their names. Question number 3 is an overused trope that is your guilty pleasure. And for this, I decided to go with like the main female character being this like bookish, quiet girl, because I know that a lot of people think that that's really overused in books and are tired of it, but it's something that I actually really enjoy because, you know, I'm quiet and bookish. So question number 4 is a cliche character type that you like better on screen than in books. And quite honestly, I don't think I have an answer for this one. I tried really hard to come up with some character cliche that I have a different opinion on between book and movies, and I really don't. Like, the difference in media really doesn't affect my opinion on the character cliche. So if I can think of something, I'll insert it here instead of this, but I honestly really just can't think of anything. Question number 5 is a word or phrase that you learned because of its use in a book. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head is that I remember as a kid reading like the Babysitter's Little Sister books, and she was in something where she was like an intermediate level, and I didn't know what that word meant, and I thought it was like intermediate or something like that. Like, so I pronounced it completely wrong, and my mom was really confused. She was like, "Kristen, what are you saying?" But yeah, I think intermediate is the one that immediately comes to my mind because I just got it so confused when I was reading it and I had no idea what it meant. Question number 6 is, have you ever not read or not finished a required reading for school? I mean, a better question is, what required readings for school have I actually finished? Because the answer is very few. Like, I don't know what it is, but I tended to be able to get away with not actually reading the book. Like, I might read like the beginning of it, but I'd usually get kind of bored with it and never finish it. So yeah, the majority of the books that I was supposed to read for classes, I never finished, or I didn't start in the first place. The most prominent of which was probably Heart of Darkness, which I read the first page of and was like, no. And then I think spark notes the entire rest of the book. Question number 7 is, have you ever skipped/wanted to skip a chapter from the point of view of a character you weren't interested in? And off the top of my head, I really can't think of any instances where I've done that. I feel like if I tried to skip a chapter, I would just get completely lost or confused. I think the closest that I've gotten to this is when I was reading Breaking Dawn and I was trying to get through Jacob's chapters just because Jacob's chapters were not that interesting. I guess in that instance, I probably wanted to skip those chapters because it actually took me a really long time to read Breaking Dawn just because I didn't want to read his chapters. But I don't think I have ever actually skipped a chapter just because I didn't like the point of view. And then finally, question number 8 is, have you ever canceled social plans to read a book? And I'm confused because I don't see how this should be on a I messed up tag, because I don't see that as messing up at all. Because yes, I have canceled social plans on many instances because I wanted to read a book, and I feel no remorse about that. I mean, I've even skipped class a couple times because I wanted to read a book. Like, I will skip anything if I really want to read a book. I'm really bad at self-control, so if I really want to do something, it's very hard for me to not do it. And the opposite is that if I really don't want to do something, I also have trouble making myself do it. So if I really don't want to go to class one day and I really want to read a book, I will probably end up being in bed reading a book instead of in class. So that is the I messed up book tag. As far as tagging people, I am going to go ahead and tag anyone who has not already read The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, because I feel like I messed up by not reading this soon enough. So if you have not read this book, you are tagged to do the I messed up book tag. And you're also tagged to read this book because it's amazing. As always, I will leave links down in the description to my blog, Twitter, and Goodreads. Please add me as a friend on Goodreads. I would love to be friends with all of you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!